Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Hey, Las Vegas, what's going on? It's the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. Talk of Las Vegas, also streaming live on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, in case you don't have it. And if you don't, well, you know, you're not a whole person. So get that app right now. We would certainly appreciate it. Also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, X, at The Mark Hoke Show on YouTube and Facebook, and at Mark Hoke Show on X. Please join us there. We'd certainly appreciate it. And, you know, a wild week. Tony Khan's getting paid. A little bad blood last night. Actually, a lot of it. And a whole lot more. And I decided I'm going to bring my own bloodline in for this show today. We're going to have a lot of fun. So let me get the boys on here. First in studio, my good friend Jason Halperin is in the house messing with the mics. How you doing, Jason?
Doing good. How you been?
I am very well, thank you. Welcome back to the show. From Sports Guys Talking Wrestling in Austin, Texas, we welcome in the big man. He is Stu Myrick. What's up?
I won't throw up the ones. I will throw up the horns, though.
Yeah. You're a happy boy.
Longhorns are about to be #1 again.
Yeah, well, you can thank Vanderbilt for that
Thank
one.
Vanderbilt. I think that goalpost might be floating towards the Atlantic right about now.
That was crazy last night.
That was funny. I mean, and that was hilarious. They paraded that thing down Broadway. I mean, it was fantastic.
Yeah, so Stu is celebrating that. And we also bring in from the Wrestling Revolver and Maryland Championship Wrestling. I'm scared, but I'm going to do it anyway. He is the president of wrestling. Welcome in, Phil Stamper. Phil, how are you, sir?
Why are you afraid?
There's an official seal. For those that are on the radio, you can't see this. There is an official seal of the president of wrestling behind Phil Stamper today.
Of course there is. Why wouldn't there be?
That is awesome. God bless you, sir. I salute you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So we're going to have a great time today talking pro wrestling, and what a amazing week it was. And I want to start this off. I'm just going to get into Bad Blood right away, guys, because it was an interesting evening. I think I was more excited about the beginning and everything that happened afterward than some of the stuff that happened in the middle. But we're going to break this one down for you first. And leading off was the match of the night. I have a feeling you guys are going to agree with me on that. I've had CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell. Poor Drew McIntyre. Oh, man, he's not in good shape today. Got a little metal in the head, but CM Punk knocks him off in a really good match last night. Phil, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on the CM Punk Drew McIntyre match, man. They beat each other up pretty hard.
So this was the only match I actually watched of the pay-per-view because I was at another event last night. So I tried to catch up this morning because I saw a lot more on social media that I'm sure we'll get to in a moment. But this, I really liked the match. I was shocked that it was the opening match of the evening. I sort of, in a weird way, do understand structurally why they did it, and get you super engaged, gets you like, oh my gosh, this is how they're kicking things off. Things are going to go insane tonight, and it met that level. They are certainly also working up, it took so much out of everybody involved in this matchup. They had to take get Punk medical assistance after the match. So, I'm curious. Then what happens next?
That is a very good question. Stu, your thoughts on this one? It was a wild one last night. A lot of good weaponry, nothing too crazy, but Drew McIntyre walks out with 16 staples in his head after getting hit with a toolbox. Ouch.
And
Big bag of beads. Bag of beads.
And it lasted like half an hour.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what the hell? Tony Khan take over Bad Blood or something? it was what you expected, and yes, I pray to God this is the blow off, and I hope that they send Drew and Punk in different directions now, because they got this thing, this whole rivalry. It's been what, a year,
just about,
maybe?
just about.
So yeah, it's time for them to do something different. So it did what it was supposed to do, and it made sense. If you had seen the reports from like Sean Ross Sapp and those, it kind of made sense, especially once you go through the rest of the show and then what happened at the end. Made sense for this one to be the first match, and like you said, just get the crowd ramped up and ready to go.
Yeah, and plus you got to clean the ring too and get that extra mat out of there. It was a messy one last night, but still pretty good. Jason, your thoughts on this feud ending, and what were you thinking after you saw the result on this one?
Well, first off, I'm thinking that I'm glad it's finally over, because they have they've beaten this one to the ground with these two guys already. Glad it finally has a conclusion. At least, hopefully, it has a conclusion. You see where Punk is going after this. Punk is going to be heading towards the top. But the question that I have is, where are they going with Drew McIntyre after this now? I mean, he's gotten put over. Is he dropping down to a second tier? I mean, where do you go with him after this?
Yeah, that's going to be a tricky decision for WWE. And we'll talk about that in a second, but I have a question for all you guys real quick. Compare this to the Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page match. Which one is a better match? Which one was more viewable? Which one did you like better? Let me start with Stu on that.
Oh man. I don't think one was better than the other. It was two different, views of the same genre, basically. I think I said this on your show. I had a problem with the whole hypodermic needle into the mouth with Hangman and Swerve. What was the purpose of that? And B, it just felt ugh.
Yeah.
So with that, yes, I prefer Punk and McIntyre. But I think I don't think it's a matter of quality, better or worse quality. I think it's just two different ways to express that genre of wrestling.
Phil, what do you think?
I mean, in many ways, I absolutely agree. I might have, I don't know how to word this. In some ways, I really didn't care about Punk and Drew McIntyre, though I thought it was one of the best stories that WWE had. I had more invested because personally, I like Shane, and I wanted to see that match, and see how it went. I'm not gonna lie. I watched knowing this Hell in the Cell was happening, knowing I missed it last night. The first thing I looked up was, is Punk injured? Because I kind of expect that after this match too.
Nice. What do you think, Jason?
I probably have to go. The entertainment value. I probably found a little bit more entertainment value in the Punk, the Punk McIntyre match. But like I said, I think also because I think you have you should have a definitive conclusion here and let these two guys go their separate ways at this point. I think that's probably more what I was looking for out of it.
Yeah, it's an interesting contrast between what AEW is doing and what WWE is doing. So just thought I'd throw that out there because it's and Stu, you brought up just some rough stuff in there, but there was some tough spots in that Punk match last night too. Drew took that bounce off the stairs in the ring where he caught right in the middle of his back. I mean that did not look good. I thought Drew was going to get hurt on that one
for sure. And kind of like what Jason was saying, just like that Swerve Hangman, that needs to be the blow off to that feud. This needs to be the blow off to this feud. Have everybody go do whatever. Punk goes for Gunther or, and you mentioned McIntyre. I'll be honest. I don't know what you do with him. Is he going mid card? Is he gonna, mill around in the upper mid card? That'll be interesting to see what they do with him.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if they dropped him down. I think you got to do something. I mean, look, you had him at a very elite level here, and I don't think they're done with Drew McIntyre towards the top of the card. So we'll see what happens. The question is who, but well, that's up for Triple H to decide. He's got some work to do.
Isn't it a good problem to have, though, when it's like, oh, wait a minute, any number of these guys can be the top guy tomorrow. Like, oh, this person gets hurt. We have to change the plan. Okay, insert Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. I think he gets so
when
underrated.
I say that, I don't want anybody to get hurt. I realize how I just said that.
And didn't, forgive me, I mean, it would not shock me if we see Drew take a little bit of a break. Because didn't he have a loss in his family recently?
Ooh, that I'm not sure about.
I can't remember, and I may be totally, and I hope I'm mistaken, and I'm sorry if I do, but it seems like they may let Drew take a couple weeks and rest and rejuvenate.
Yeah, wouldn't be a bad idea. He's been working so hard.
His brother has passed away just 2 days ago.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, so it would
or
not.
Aunt. I'm sorry, his aunt. His brother announced the aunt's death.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it would not shock me if he takes some time to, take care of that and kind of grieve and kind of rejuvenate himself. So
yeah. So, but a really good match there last night. Oh, and I hate to say it, but to me it was the peak of the evening. We get to the next one: Nia Jax and Bayley. And this was a match where I give Nia Jax credit for trying to do some different things in the ring. I give her credit. Michael Cole didn't do her any favors last night. When they were, the one spot where she tried to do a Hurricane Rana, and it was a little clunky, but it wasn't terrible or anything like that. I mean, for her to be doing something like that was pretty cool as was. But I don't know. This match just didn't click with me, I guess. And, of course, Tiffany Stratton came in with a case. And, we had the usual goofing around with that thing. And Nia ends up knocking off Bayley. Jason, your thoughts on Nia Jax and Bayley as Nia moves on?
I thought it almost seemed like a filler match after the Hell in the Cell match, which it's sad to say that a championship match has that feel to it, but it was a letdown match. Where they go from here, I mean, obviously you still have the angle for Nia Jax to go with Naomi as the next woman up, so to speak, and eventually you're going to have Tiffany Stratton try to cash in on Nia Jax. That's got to be the angle they're going to have to play here. It's the only angle really left to play.
Yeah, Stu, your thoughts on this match and just how it was executed.
I wonder if part of the lack of enthusiasm, shall we say, was because of where it was placed on the card.
Yeah, it was a tough spot.
Had to follow Punk and Drew. So that's a tough spot. And we know the WWE crowds, a lot of them, they're not as invested as what's happening in the the mechanics of a match as they are, okay, what rundown is going to happen or who's going to show up or some surprise. And Jason mentioned it, Tiffany Stratton trying to cash in. I think there may have been a little bit of that with this one. So, and there's a little bit of the whole, Nia Jax, there is a history of the fans not exactly being on her side anyway. So I think it was one of those things. I think you're right. It's, you got Naomi up next. They've got to do. I am not a fan of having the Money in the Bank briefcase being held for, an endless amount of time. I get wanting to put some time in between winning the briefcase and cashing it in. But, yeah, I think they're going to have to pull that trigger sooner rather than later.
Phil, what did you think of this? I mean, you're a guy that gets in the ring, from a technical standpoint and just overall.
So I will say, like I said at the start, the only match I actually got to watch
that's right. You didn't see this yet.
Was Hell in a Cell. But the social media feedback of this was actually fairly positive, which is shocking because it's social media and shocking because it's Nia Jax. And what you said is exactly true, that it was about its placement. Yeah. And looking at the other matches on the card, this might have been the best place for it. What do you do to follow up with a Hell in a Cell match? Like, yeah, luck or unluck of the draw, but the fact that it looks like a little bit of the crowd is turning positively on Nia Jax is a good thing. Hopefully it continues.
Yeah, and like I said, I give her a lot of credit for last night for trying to do some different things in the ring. It's clear she's looking to open up her game a little bit. Now, if just from my standpoint, haven't wrestled professionally or anything like that, but just from a coach's standpoint, the one thing that I'd really like to see her do is to work on more explosiveness and more speed in the ring, because the power game is there. That's what she does. When she makes impact, she makes very good impact. But I would really like to see her just get a little faster. You think about like a spear from Roman Reigns, just how explosive that move is. And I think if Nia could just get a little bit more of that, she would just look devastating in the ring. So that's kind of where I think Nia should take her progression. And she's trying to do some new moves, which is cool. I think if she could work on that explosiveness, that would be huge. What do you think about that, Stu?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think, just it needs, she needs to not look like someone that is lumbering.
Right.
She needs and I'm not saying she needs to get really fat, just maybe just a step quicker, I think could make a huge difference.
Yeah. And it's, you don't want to ruin what she has and the assets that
right.
she does. Now she decides that she wants to, really trim down and do some, become a different wrestler. That's certainly on her. She wants to do that, and no one would fault her for it. But like I said, I think kind of finding a middle ground there would be a cool thing. All right, so we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we've got more about Bad Blood. But I just want to remind everybody too, if you're going to be doing some traveling, man, there's a lot of PLEs and AEW pay-per-views, TNA. You need a hotel room. Go to the travelshark.com/Hoke Show, and you can get some amazing discounts. It's powered by Priceline, so you're going to get those great employee hidden rates that everybody tries to get. Don't guess about your hotel room. Just go to the travelshark.com/Hoke Show. Get the best deal right now. That's it. That's all you got to do. It's travelshark.com/Hoke Show. All right, we're going to be back with more here with Jason Halperin, Stu Myrick, Phil Stamper joining me here on the Mark Hoke Show. It's the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas, streaming on the Odyssey app and also out there on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Just search the Mark Hoke Show. You'll find it. Thanks for being with us. We will be right back.
Looking for high-quality custom screen printing in Las Vegas? Look no further than Off Grid Creations. Need a few custom t-shirts for a local event, band merchandise, or family reunion? We've got you covered. Large order of uniforms for your staff, sports team, or club? We can handle that too. Our experienced team will work closely with you throughout the entire process from design consultation to final product. Call us at 661-300-1115. That's 661-300-1115, or visit our website at off-gridcreations.com. Get a free consultation today.
101.5 FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. It is the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. We are gods of the universe. That's what we do. Phil Stamper's loving that. It would have been funny to hear you laugh, but your mic, there we go. All right.
Well, even when I laughed, I didn't really laugh out loud anyway.
Fair enough. Phil Stamper, Stu Myrick, Jason Halperin joining me here on the show. We're breaking down WWE Bad Blood from Atlanta last night. We get to match number 3, Damian Priest and Finn Balor. And Finn lost. I mean, I don't really know much more to say about that. They did the interference thing with Judgment Day. It didn't work. Damian Priest wins, and Finn Balor looks like an incompetent goofball. I'm not happy about it. I think this hurt Finn very badly, more than I think people know. Phil, what do you think about Finn Balor losing this match in that way too?
I'll be honest. After Finn Balor recovered from his injury when he became the first ever WWE Universal Champion, he's never recovered back in the WWE. Period. End of statement. Done.
Yeah, good point. Jason, your thoughts on Priest getting the win and Balor? Well, just it's bugging me. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. I said Finn needs this win somehow, some way, so he doesn't fade into obscurity and hurt the whole Judgment Day. And there it goes.
Well, I think everyone knew that Finn was not winning this match, even if there's interference or anything like that. You knew Priest was going to get the win in this match. Finally, where it has to go now with Finn is he's got a tag team belt. Start defending it. I mean, make use of it. You have 2 guys there. These guys have wrestled once for the tag team championships on the line since they won them back in June. There's your push with Finn. I mean, it's sad to say, but that's where you have to push him right now. You've got to make use of the fact that he's got a title. Push that. Just push that already.
Fair enough. Stu, what do you think?
Yeah.
What'd you think of this one?
I agree with Jason. First of all, if I'm not mistaken, the last 3 or 4 weeks on Raw, Judgment Day has gotten the upper hand on Rhea and Damian. So, yeah. So, in a sense, I kind of agree, yes, Damian needed to win this just because he'd been getting beat up for the last 3 weeks. So, yeah, it was time. I also agree with Jason, yes, Damian is one half of the tag team champions on Raw. Let's have some defenses, start lining up some tag teams. Look, I don't think anybody is going to see Finn Balor as any less than what he is. He's a phenomenal wrestler, And I'll be honest, I think a lot of people that have watched wrestling for a long time still think of Prince Devitt and still give him that cachet. So I don't think this is going to hurt Finn that much.
All right.
I think it simply matter. And look, and I'll admit, I am a huge fan of Damian Priest. I got to know him when he was in Ring of Honor. Great guy. And he's, and I've been a huge fan of his. So I have no problem whatsoever Damian getting the victory here.
Yeah, and I don't either. I mean, it's nothing against Damian Priest. I agree with you. I've loved him since was doing the Ring of Honor with Punishment Martinez as well. I mean, he's a terrific talent. Yeah, I just feel kind of bad for Finn. Phil brought this up that this has been going on since he had to forfeit the Universal title. It's been years and years, and I just feel like I wish he would get another chance at some point, but that chance is not going to be now, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, let's get those tag titles going a little bit. Let's see him and McDonough actually do something in the ring. Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, a DQ victory, an unplanned one for Rhea Ripley as she gets the win, but no title against Liv Morgan. Our boy Dirty Dominik Mysterio up in a shark cage and was absolutely acting petrified, and I think he got more heat than anybody else did in this match. A rather awkward finish with the DQ as Raquel Rodriguez comes in, interferes in the match, and it was supposed to apparently be a Liv getting dropped on Rhea after Raquel knocked her out, but the referee was facing the wrong direction and saw everything and had to DQ her. And also, by the way, very interesting use of that ref cam as we heard Rhea ask the referee, hey, do you mind if I go out and take care of some business, while Dom was hanging upside down from the shark cage? And the ref was like, yeah, go ahead. You're not getting counted out. Just go do it. I don't know if it was one of the worst or funniest moments in professional wrestling history, but it was interesting. Stu, I'll start with you on this match. Boy, it just turned into a bomb at the end, but
it was a little bit of a comedy of errors. I mean, the funny thing, Rhea beating Dom like a piñata. That was great. I loved it. The Raquel Rodriguez interference. Look, I'm all for her showing a mean side. We went through all that her babyface run, and all she did was smile. I mean, it was reminding me of Jonathan Ogden from the Ravens, and Jonathan Ogden has the best smile in the NFL. But so I get wanting to show a little bit of bad side with Raquel, but yeah, that was a comedy of errors. And look, the ref did what he was supposed to do, because that's something when you learn as a wrestling referee, you're enforcing whatever rules there are, and if you see it, you got to call it. So yeah, he saw the interference, he had to call the DQ. I mean, so no heat. It should be no heat on the ref. That's on Liv and Rhea. So.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Jason, what did you think of this whole thing?
I think while it was a comedy errors, I think the WWE is going to get a really nice spin out of it personally. I think the fact that the ref had to call it as DQ, you still have the fact that Rhea has not lost her title. They still get to play the angle. You now have Raquel Rodriguez back in the mix now as the muscle on the women's side of Judgment Day. It also now allows her to eventually, me personally thinking that eventually she's going to be the one to turn on Liv and take the title, and now you set up Raquel versus Rhea in a much bigger match than what you're going to get out of Rhea and Liv. I think they have a really good chance to spin this in a positive way. Comedy of errors, yes, but if it's done right, it can turn into gold for them.
Yeah. Well, one thing, Phil, that a lot of people noticed was that the crowd wasn't really that excited about Raquel showing up. And I don't know if that's just because they couldn't really tell who she was. I mean, she was dressed in black, and it was pretty sudden for where she came out of the blue. Should there be any concern?
I was gonna say I was actually watching the clip of it, and you're right. I think when she pops up, it's like it's hard to see. You're crouched down. It's right in the spot. You're not in the ring, which is a raised platform. So the crowd doesn't even, I don't think even initially see it until they finally get in the ring. And by then, the action's already happened. So yeah.
Yeah. So this will be interesting to see how this all works out. And, it's good to see Raquel back though. I mean, everything she went through, happy to see her doing her thing, and she'll be hanging out with Liv for a little while. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And then we get to the main event, and boy, there's going to be a lot of questions about the main event. And by the way, Jesse Hyde in the chat box, I will mention, one night in the ATL, Hell in a Cell recaptures its aura. The Rock is back. He's angry. Jimmy Uso's back, forms the OG bloodline. Looks like KO turns heel. Yeah, we got all sorts of stuff going on off that. But tag match and a lot of introductory stuff going on. I think the boys were trying to show who has the best introduction as the Arkansas Pine Bluff band plays Cody in. Went okay. Roman Reigns has his own little entourage playing violins and orchestras and all sorts of stuff as he comes in. And then we get the tag match going back and forth. A good finish. Cody wipes out Jacob Fatu, and Roman ends up finishing it off with Jimmy Uso's interference. So Jimmy's back. The Rock comes out at the end, gives us a gesture that we have no idea right now what it means. But I thought it dragged a little bit. But otherwise, decent match. Jason, your thoughts on what happened last night with the Bloodline?
Well, I almost fell asleep during the entrances until they actually started the match, because it took 25 minutes to actually get them into the ring, and then the stare down, as to who's even going to start the match. But after that, the match was it was entertaining. nice to see once again the OG Bloodline get formed there. It sets up nicely moving forward for future pay-per-views. Gives them another angle. The whole Rock thing at the end, not sure what it means, not sure where it goes, except for the fact that I think it's going to set up the Rock and Roman for WrestleMania 41.
Phil, what'd you think of that?
So the way I saw all this happen at first was The Rock's Instagram putting out afterwards a little promo like, the final boss will let you know why the final boss is here. The final boss will tell you what the final boss is going to do when the final boss wants to tell you. And it's like, well, I don't know anything that's happening other than the final boss is here. So now The Rock is back. So there was a lot about this premium live event that just transitions this now to what's going to come next. And so what is the tease of The Rock? Is The Rock mad at Roman? Is The Rock mad at the Bloodline? Is Rock still angry with Cody? Which I will say that in his Instagram post, he's still mad at Cody.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. When I came in, I said to Jason about that Instagram post that I swear to God, if I'd have had to drink every time The Rock said final boss in that 5-minute post, I'd have been in a hospital. It wouldn't have been good. But, Stu, what'd you think about all this craziness?
it did what it's supposed to do. You're right. I mean, Cody and Roman getting the win and Jimmy Uso finally back. So, yeah, you're starting to build back the OG Bloodline, which that'll be good. Especially you got Survivor Series War Games coming up soon. The Rock thing is interesting. And I get what Jason said about setting up for WrestleMania. Well, let's hold on one second, because you got this gigantic event happening beginning of November in Saudi Arabia. And Triple H even brings out this crown jewel championship that's going to be the WWE champion, the world champion on both men and women. Which, by the way, the belt was giving me Mid-South vibes. The old.
Oh, that was the North American title. The North American title had a baby with the AEW World Championship belt, and there it was.
Exactly. So, could The Rock find his way to Saudi? It wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility. The Saudis would pay for it. But yeah, are we looking at Rock Roman, Rock Cody, Rock Roman Cody? What in the to quote The Rock, what in the blue hell? So we'll wait and see. I'll be honest, the whole Instagram promo, good Lord. I love The Rock, but man, let's just get to it. Let's not have a bunch of rigmarole. Let's just get to what we're doing. Get to the point. I have a late colleague of mine that used to do radio here in Austin. He always said, "Put it on a postcard." In other words,
that's a good point. Yeah.
Make it brief.
Yeah. Does the new Bloodline guys get hurt by this? Because I tell you what, they're taking losses like crazy. And that's one thing that I knew they were going to lose this match. But does their aura get stung from another loss here to Roman and Cody? Or am I overthinking this a little bit? Anybody want to fire
an aura?
Ooh, okay. Go ahead, President.
It depends on the follow-up. Mm-hmm. Now, if you get to SmackDown and Solo and the boys wreck shop, no, I don't think because like you said, nobody expected Bloodline to win this one. It was going to be Roman and Cody. You knew that. So as long as they follow it up right, it won't matter. Plus, you got to remember, and I'm gonna call them the Guerrillas of Destiny still have the tag titles.
Yes,
on SmackDown. So there is that.
Yeah, there's a many puzzle pieces to come together after this, and we'll see what happens. But I just, man, I'll tell you what, The Rock's going to drive me nuts He is.
Me too.
Yeah, it's got to get squared up, and he's been talking to. I mean, I hate to put Dwayne down because he's one of the best all time to do it, but even before this, he's just talking too much. And Stu, I think you said that great. Put it on a postcard is a perfect line that he could say the things that he's saying. Like in that 5-minute Instagram, he could have done that in 2. You know, the one promo that ran like 11 or 12 minutes on SmackDown right before a WrestleMania could have done it in 5. You know, and
he can do it in 45 seconds.
Yeah,
and still get the point across.
Yeah, he could. So Dwayne, just back it off a little bit. I know you're drinking the tequila and having a good time, but we got you. All right, we got you. All right, let's take a break, and when we come back, more about Bad Blood. I wanted to talk about that championship belt and what's going to be happening at Crown Jewel coming up. And I do want to remind everybody, if you want to make some money off professional wrestling, go to our website and click on the betonline.ag link, because you can bet on pro wrestling over there. You get a nice 50% matching bonus up to $1,000 with the code BOO1000, thanks to me. So be happy about that. I'm giving you $500. So check it out. You can bet on all your favorite PLEs, pay-per-views, and of course, all the sports are up there from pretty much around the world. Jason, you've probably seen that site. It's nuts.
Absolutely, it's nuts. I just remember looking at that back in the day with the Super Bowl. Seeing the wrestling stuff on there is absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it's cool. So check it out. Go to markhokeshow.com and click on one of the banners and go to betonline.ag and get your bonus today. All right, stick around, everybody. Best in pro wrestling, and I got 3 of the best with me today. I love these guys to death. Jason Halperin, Stu Myrick, Phil Stamper in the house on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. We got more pro wrestling coming for you when we come back.
FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
I'm just mocking Jason Halperin on the live stream right now, having a good old time. If I can figure out which way to point, I gotta remember it's opposites. What Jason's got? Get that Penguins thing off the live stream. Ew, yuck, blah.
Let's go Caps.
You too?
Yeah, okay.
That's all right. I hate the Penguins way more than I hate the Caps. Stu, do you want to offend me with hockey too while you're at it?
Hockey?
Thank you.
Fellas, we're in Texas. There are only 2 sports in Texas. Football, spring football.
That's it.
Fair enough, Stu Myrick. Thank you. Glad you didn't bring up the Dallas Stars. Now, those Cowboys, they're not good.
We have the Texas Stars. No, they haven't been good for a long time.
I'm sorry.
I'm a lifelong Cowboys fan, lifelong long-suffering Cowboys fan.
Well,
so.
You know what? That's just too damn bad. I feel terrible for you. Not. Anyway. We had mentioned the Crown Jewel belt where the world champions are going to face off, the men and the women. Big old super diamond belt, looking sexy. But is this a good idea? Does this work? Stu, I'll hit you with it first.
Yeah, it's something for them to. They can bring those 2 champions together, have a match, and actually have something on the line besides their instead of their titles. So, in that sense, it works. If it's a one-off thing, all right, whatever. I wonder if they will try to make this kind of something they'll do every time they go to Saudi. And if they do, I mean, it's going to be one of those where, once it happens, everybody remembers it for a week or 2, and then it'll be forgotten until the next Crown Jewel.
Fair enough. Phil, what do you think of this? Do you like it?
I mean, I kind of think exactly the same when they had the first world's largest, greatest Rumble and Mansoor won, and didn't he win the championship that we never
lose the belt? Yeah,
I thought it was the Crown Jewel Championship, to be honest. Never again mentioned. And never did you see Mansoor then for another year, or 6 months or however long it was back until they went to Saudi. So I'm not giving a lot of faith, a lot of build into the next pay-per-view. I think that's good. Or excuse me, premium live event. Great for them. What they're going to do out of that, like, okay, you're going to, I feel like you're going to have this huge build for Saudi and then trickle into what's left into Survivor Series.
Yeah. Jason, what do you think?
Yeah, I tend to agree with both Stu and Phil there. I don't see much purpose to it except for building up the premium live event here. You're going to have somebody they're going to parade around the belt for the next week or two, and then just kind of move on from it. It just gives you a reason to want to tune into a glorified house show.
Well, here's my one issue with it is, I remember back when Roman and Drew faced off, and they were dual champions. The one risk I think that you run with this match is that one champion, because they said it's going to be a clean finish. This is going to be to be decisive. It hurts one person against the other. That's the only thing that I'm worried about. Because one thing that I like right now is you almost feel like Cody and Gunther are about the same place. They're both very strong champions. And now you're going to take one and you're going to put one on a tier below the other one. And I'm not real thrilled about that. Same thing with the women. But Phil, what do you think about that?
So I'm in the same place, but it's like you have an undisputed champion who's holding 2 championships. You created or recreated the World Heavyweight Championship. Now you're doing the Crown Jewel Championship not to unite, to just say, like, this is the guy that beat both of them. It's like, what are you guys doing? This just isn't, this doesn't ring good to me right now, just on the men's side. The women have not had that opportunity, so I think there could be something you could develop with women. Does that mean then the loser loses their championship? Or is it just the Crown Jewel Championship is the opportunity for bragging rights? I beat your champion. Ha.
Yeah. So what impact does it have? Not that big on it. I got Jesse Hyde in the chat box saying some people think the Crown Jewel Championship is a nothing belt and ugly, but we will see, because Saudi WWPLEs in recent years are like WrestleMania levels. I don't know about that, but that belt's not ugly. That's a pretty nice belt.
It's a nice belt, but let's be honest. Phil's right. The Saudi shows are glorified house shows, not WrestleMania level. I mean, they want to be. They want to make it like it is, but to those of us that follow it regularly, it's a glorified house show. From way I understand it, it's going to be bragging rights and nothing else. Each champion will still have their championship. This will just be bragging rights, and like I said, it'll be good for a couple of weeks, and then everybody forgets about it because, oh, by the way, War Games is coming up. So
yeah. So that's about how I feel about it. I mean, it's by the way, we've got to congratulate WWE NXT on their debut on the CW. They nailed it. Average viewers, 895,000. Ratings in the key 18 to 49 demo were up 36.8%, 44% overall. So it looks like the boys are pretty happy about going to the CW. So congratulations to WWE on that one. A nice win for them. All right, and we're going to be headed to hour number 2 here pretty shortly. Man, I'm going to have all these guys back. Can you believe it, everybody? Because they're awesome. And they must not have anything better to do this morning. So it's all good. Phil Stamper, of course, from the Wrestling Revolver. Make sure you check that out. Stu Myrick. He is at, and Phil is at Trust and Phil on X. Stu Myrick at Stu Myrick, STEWMYRICK. Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. And Jason Halperin. He is at LV_HitMN. And he's just hanging around Las Vegas doing his thing. So we've got a whole lot more coming up for you. Oh, AEW made some money. It's done. Kinda. There may be more cash falling from the sky for them. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more coming up on the Mark Hoke Show. Hour number 2 with these guys. Stick around, everybody. We will be right back. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.